Previously on Lost Chapters, we watched the towering shadow of Maximinus Thrax rise from a common soldier to Rome's most feared ruler, only to be betrayed by the very army that crowned him. But Rome's troubles didn't end there. No, her greatest humiliation was yet to come. The year is to 60 AD. The Roman Empire is fractured, bleeding from its borders, and ruled by a man named Publius Licinius Valerianus, Emperor Valerian. He is no stranger to war, a seasoned commander determined to hold together a crumbling realm. But on the eastern frontier, an enemy is waiting. One who will ETCH Valerian's name into history, not for victory, but for disgrace. In the Persian heartlands, King Shapur I, the King of Kings, has already clashed with Rome before. But this time, his eyes are fixed not just on territory, but on the Roman Emperor himself. The two powers will meet at the Battle of Edessa, and there, fate will deal Rome its most unthinkable blow. In the summer of 260 AD, Valerian marches east with an army of more than 70,000 men, legions, auxiliaries, and seasoned cavalry. His mission: stop Shapur's relentless raids into Roman Syria and restore the empire's shaken pride. But the empire Valerian commands is no longer the invincible Rome of old. Plague has thinned his ranks. Civil war back home drains resources. Governors and generals act like kings in their own provinces. The once mighty eagle standard now flutters over an empire in crisis. Shapur, ever the tactician, sees the cracks. Instead of rushing into battle, he lures the Romans deeper into hostile territory. Supply lines stretch thin. Summer heat scorches the soldiers, and food grows scarce. Then, whispers of sickness begin to spread through the camps. The same plague that stalked the empire now strikes the emperor's army. By the time Valerian reaches Edessa, the Roman legions are weary, weakened, and desperate. And that is exactly when Shapur moves in. The Battle of Edessa begins under a blazing eastern sun. Valerian, determined to break Shapur's grip on the frontier, orders a full engagement. Roman shields lock, spears bristle, but the Persians are ready. Shapur's cavalry sweeps in from the flanks, loosing a rain of arrows before melting back into the desert haze. His heavy cataphracts, armored from head to hoof, smash into the Roman lines like iron battering rams. Each charge leaves the legions thinner, weaker. The Romans fight bravely, but plague and exhaustion are deadlier than Persian steel. Valerian, desperate to save what remains of his army, agrees to parley with Shapur under a flag of truce. He believes this meeting will spare his men. Instead, it seals his fate. as the two rulers meet, Shapur's soldiers surround the Roman emperor. In a heartbeat, the might of Rome is dragged from his horse and taken prisoner. No ransom, no negotiation. For the first time in history, a Roman emperor is captured alive by a foreign power. Valerian's fate is unlike anything the Roman world has ever witnessed. Taken deep into Persian territory, he becomes Shapur's living trophy, a breathing reminder that Rome's power can be broken. Accounts differ on what happened next, but all are drenched in humiliation. Some say Valerian was kept in chains, paraded before Persian crowds. Others whisper that Shapur used the emperor as a human footstool when mounting his horse, forcing the ruler of Rome to kneel in the dirt beneath him. And then, the end. The most chilling tale comes from later historians. That Valerian, after years of captivity, was killed, his body skinned, and his hide stuffed with straw. A grotesque display hung in a Persian temple as a warning to all who would defy Shapur's might. Whether these details are myth or truth, one fact remains: the capture of Valerian shattered Rome's prestige. It sent shockwaves through the empire, emboldening enemies and shaking the faith of its people. In that moment, the Roman eagle had its wings broken, and history had its first and only emperor in chains. Thus ends one of Rome's darkest hours, the day an emperor fell not in battle, but in chains. Valerian's capture into 60 AD was more than a defeat. It was a message to the world that even the greatest empires can be humbled. In the shadow of his downfall, Rome's borders burned, generals turned into warlords, and the crisis of the 3rd century spiraled further into chaos. But the lost chapters of history are rarely neat, and Valerian's fall was only the beginning of even darker times to come. You've walked through the dust of Edessa, seen the chains, and felt the weight of an empire's shame. In our next episode, we'll open yet another sealed page from history, where betrayal, blood, and ambition will again change the fate of nations. This is Lost Chapters, where the stories too brutal, too strange, and too forgotten for the history books are brought to life. Subscribe so you don't miss the next shadow in time.